This video is about two things that might seem unrelated at first glance, but are actually beautifully connected. Last week, Dana and I celebrated the 15th anniversary of our engagement, which took place at EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I've been a member of EAA for more than 20 years. My first trip to AirVenture was in 2004, soon after earning my instrument rating. My first trip to AirVenture with Dana was in 2010, a few months after we met. He proposed to me there, and 2 years later, we flew a 1938 J3 Cub into Oshkosh during our trip around the country. In March of 2013, we welcomed our daughter Alex into the world and drove to Oshkosh with her that July to celebrate life and our mutual love of aviation. We've been to AirVenture every year since, except for 2020 when it was canceled because of COVID, and in 2021 when we felt it just might not be that much fun. I was glad to see that EAA didn't impose any mask or jab mandates in 2021, and in hindsight, we probably should have gone. Meanwhile, here in Jacksonville, I was busy dealing with the local school board.
Good afternoon, board. My name is Meredith Holliday, and I'm the mother of a third grader. I'm not a doctor, but I'm a commercial pilot. I deal with science and risk management every day. Children should not be forced to wear masks in school or anywhere. This is a fact. The cloth masks worn by children are structurally incapable of blocking small viral particles. It's like blowing dust through a chain link fence.
Over the last 5 years, Dana and I have been heavily involved in pilot health and safety education efforts. We believed then, and still do today, that the COVID jabs are dangerous and never should have been approved for anyone, let alone pilots. By 2022, the COVID dust had more or less settled. Dana and I have remained members of EAA and have continued to attend and enjoy AirVenture together. Which brings me back to AirVenture 2025 and MOSAIC. On May 4th, 2025, I published a video outlining my concerns with the FAA's Sport Pilot 2.0 proposal, which has been widely supported and endorsed by every major general aviation group, including AOPA and EAA. To date, the video has received more than 3,700 views and has generated more than 130 comments, most of which were polite and constructive, which I appreciate. My concerns with MOSAIC can be summarized in this screenshot from that video. As you'll see in a few minutes, the FAA ultimately approved MOSAIC in a public announcement at AirVenture last week. My concern with EAA, though, is that the organization, which otherwise does a fantastic job producing this week-long event, used AirVenture as an opportunity to spread what might be considered misinformation about the Sport Pilot program.
Welcome to Airborne Unlimited here at Oshkosh 2025. I'm your host, Holland Lee. And coming up on the show today, lots of exciting news for what you can expect from the week ahead. First up, let's hear from Jack Pelton about a possible MOSAIC announcement on Tuesday. ANN conducted an exclusive interview this very morning with EAA boss Jack Pelton, who now appears to be heading what seems to be the largest aviation organization in the biz, possibly eclipsing AOPA. Jack had what appears to be huge news, telling us that the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, is attending Oshkosh and is promising us a major news announcement that we're going to like. That's got to be MOSAIC. Here's what Jack had to say.
One question on everybody's mind, I got to lead in with it. MOSAIC. Where do we stand? What do we know? Fill me in, buddy.
We do have a guest coming on Monday, the Secretary of Transportation, and he plans on having a press conference on Tuesday. And I don't think he's coming here to do a press conference to say everything's great in Wisconsin, as based on his role. And then the FAA Administrator number 2, that's Chris, that's in charge, last Saturday at Tarkio at the air show, he said, "Jack, we can't wait to get out to AirVenture because we got something that you've been waiting for a long time." I have been very impressed with the FAA staff that's been assigned to get it done. The fact that through many administrations of interim administrators in the FAA, full-time ones, the turnover has been phenomenal, and the program has stayed on track this whole time with a priority within the FAA. To me, it's probably going to be one of the most influential pieces of change that are going to occur in general aviation, and I think it's going to lead to the kind of a resurgence of general aviation as we have known it over the years, because it removes a lot of hurdles. At EA, we're referred to it as half the cost, half the time, and all the fun. So you can then look at all of these airplanes, and we've looked at think it's about 70% of the aircraft on the Federal Registry that are single-engine piston airplanes would qualify to be flown under a light sport pilot certificate, a sport pilot certificate. We've done a lot to make sport pilot work and be as successful as it can be with the limitations. But even in our own sport pilot academy we have here, somebody can get their sport pilot license. They go home. The FBOs and flight schools don't have sport or LSA airplanes, so you can't rent an airplane. You can't continue to evolve. And this takes that away because everybody's got something on their line today that would qualify. It now has a pathway for people to stay in aviation.
As I've said before, I think the third-class medical requirement for private pilots should be eliminated.
They need a complete overhaul of how they deal with medicals in general. You'll hear the FAA say, oh, only 1% are denied. Come on. All of us have heard the stories, and what we don't want is a situation where a pilot feels like they have to lie to fly.
Got it, yeah.
And so in my view, the greatest achievement of MOSAIC is that it allows more pilots to fly more airplanes without a medical. That's cool. But, just like most other federal government regulations, MOSAIC includes a lot of stuff that just doesn't make any sense, like allowing sport pilots to do essentially the same kind of flying as private pilots in the same airplanes, but with less required training. As anyone who knows me well can tell you, I have a zero-tolerance policy for BS. This character trait is one of the foundations of my enduring relationship with Dana. He supported me through my battles with the school board during COVID, and now understands my concerns with the marketing of MOSAIC. To me, the marketing of MOSAIC and Sport Pilot 2.0 is similar in theory to how masks and so-called vaccines were pushed during COVID, and that certain groups are painting a picture that does not represent reality in order to push an agenda. As I said during my speech to the school board, I'm a pilot and I deal with science and risk management every day. My livelihood is based on facts, on hard truths. All I'm trying to do here is encourage other pilots to seek the truth and to use the new sport pilot rule responsibly.
So I did kind of a crazy thing. I'm going to meet up with Dana at Oshkosh. I'm not going for the air show. I'm going because this is kind of a special year for us. It's the 15th anniversary of Dana proposing to me at this air show. So I just couldn't resist. I had to get a ticket and go meet him. So I'm on my way to gate right now, and I'll see you on board.
Alex and I had decided not to join Dana on this trip so that he could spend some quality time in Milwaukee with his older daughter. But as soon as he left her place for AirVenture, I realized how much I'd miss being there with him. So I jumped online and bought myself an airline ticket. Alex stayed home with my parents and had a great time.
And if you're wondering what the deal is with the Western Cowgirl hat, it will become apparent in a little while. This is a hat I bought in Nashville during a trip that me and Dana and Alex took in our plane a couple years ago. But there's a significance to the wearing of the hat, which you'll see in a little while. So I managed to pack everything I need in that backpack. I wasn't going to bring the other bag, but I realized when I upgraded to first class, which I'm so excited about, I could bring a carry-on bag too. So I've got a blanket in there, which we'll probably need for camping tonight because they said it's going to be like 65 degrees. It's been almost 100 in Jacksonville lately, which I don't really mind a whole lot, but just the temperature change is going to feel like winter to me. So I brought an extra blanket, and our friend Mark is driving to Oshkosh, so he's got his own car and he'll be driving back to Jacksonville. So just in case I don't get an upgrade on the way home and therefore don't have the carry-on baggage available, Mark can bring the blanket home. So the downside of sitting in the first row first class is that you can't put your bags under your seat. So we're about to land at O'Hare, and I have to say this has been a pretty good flight so far, but let's see how this captain does with the landing for the FO. We don't know who's landing, but they were both pretty experienced guys from what I could tell. So let's see how this goes. That was a pretty nice landing. And something super fun. I had a gentleman here on my flight who started flying out of the Montgomery County Airpark around the same time I did. So general aviation is a very small world, and you never know who you're going to meet. And one of our friends from Jacksonville is also on my flight a couple rows back. So hopefully I can find my rental car and head on up to Oshkosh. So we'll see you there. All right, I'm at O'Hare Airport. trying to find the train so I can get to the rental car. But the boys on United did a pretty good job getting me here on time today. I actually had a lot of fun. I got to watch a concert in my seat and enjoyed that, and had a nice conversation with the person sitting next to me. So far a good day. This airport is crazy. All right, so I'm in the rental car driving north on Highway 94, Interstate 94, I believe it is, up to Oshkosh. And Dana's there. He's got my wristband all paid up and gonna try and get me a parking space. So now I just have to deal with the crazy traffic on this highway and chill out and enjoy the day. All right, guys, I'm rolling into AirVenture. Dana's got me some parking down here. You see where that school bus is down there? I'm gonna make that hard right turn and park in this parking lot right here. I can't believe I made it. I'm so excited. All right, now I just gotta find Dana. He should be here somewhere. This is the little parking lot where we always park, and he saved me a spot. And this is Vicky's food tent. I hope there's a hamburger in my future. So this is the place. This is the little site they call Compass Hill. What made you pick this place, Dana?
I like the symbolism of direction. What direction is your life going? Where are you headed? Where have you been, right? And when they built this place, they invited people from wherever around the world, when they came to Oshkosh, to bring a rock from their local airport and place it on the pathway. And I just thought that was really cool.
So one of these little rocks,
But-
people brought.
That's right. A lot of them they brought from their local area. This was, a long time ago when they built it, but it was always a place for me to sort of sit in the breeze, and it's high so you can overlook some of the grounds. And it's mainly just the symbolism of the direction your life is going.
I think our life is going in a pretty good direction.
You think?
Okay, so now for an explanation of the straw hat situation. This is a photo that hangs on our bedroom wall, and it was taken on Sunday, July 25th, 2010, at Oshkosh, just mere hours after Dana proposed to me on Compass Hill. Sitting behind me is our friend Mark Neal, and sitting behind Dana is our friend Dan Vormitag. So when Dana told me that both Mark and Dan were going to be at the show this year, I had to try and recreate the shot. It didn't quite work out because by the time the four of us were all in the same place, my hat was back at the campground, but we did our best. So we had a really nice time celebrating our 15th anniversary.
This is the fun way to get around Oshkosh on a little scooter.
That's right.
Rolling through the campground after supper.
Sport Cup?
Plane we have it on 850s instead of those 26-inch push tires. That same plane.
Go Sport Cup!
That thing's so much fun to fly too. It's got 100 horse. It's not going to do as well as that's not bad.
Oh,
It's pretty good. He's got minimal fuel on the process.
come on.
This is the least capable airplane in this field.
Come on, buddy.
He's going way too fast.
Oh, and too short. That's all right. Good try, buddy.
That's not bad.
Good morning. It's about 5:30 on Tuesday morning, and Dana and I are heading to the ultralight barn to get some coffee and hang out. So we're going to enjoy the show here today and then fly back to Jacksonville tomorrow. So we're here at the ultralight barn, and as you enter the showgrounds for AirVenture 2025, you come across one of these signs that says, "You can learn to fly in half the time and half the cost and have all the fun." Haven't we been over those numbers already? Didn't EAA see the numbers? Apparently somebody is not crunching the data before they made the sign.
If you scan the QR code on that sign, it takes you to this page on EAA's website. EAA claims that you can earn a sport pilot certificate in half the time and for half the cost of a private pilot certificate. This is the same claim that they made in 2004 when Sport Pilot 1.0 was launched. I've always been skeptical of this, so earlier this year I contacted the FAA to request some data to either support or debunk it. In April, I received 2 separate spreadsheets from FAA, each containing the total number of hours reported by applicants when applying for either a sport or a private pilot certificate. What I learned didn't surprise me one bit, and clearly debunks the notion that the sport pilot certificate offers substantial savings in both time and money when compared to a private pilot certificate. Under Sport Pilot 2.0, which was approved and announced at Oshkosh on Tuesday, sport pilots will now have access to a wide range of aircraft that until now were only available to private pilots. In general, that's a good thing. I think we can all agree on that. But here's the catch. The basic training and certification requirements aren't changing for either the sport or the private pilot certificate. So what makes EAA and other industry groups think that now, somehow magically, the 20 and 40-hour minimums are going to be reality, when the data clearly shows otherwise?
Sport Pilot 2.0 means rolling back the clock to a time when aviation was more affordable, more accessible, and more achievable.
MOSAIC means more airplanes that I can fly and that our members can fly. These are modern, safe aircraft that we can put on the market for at a minimum amount of cost.
Sport Pilot 2.0 means that I get to achieve my dreams of flying. It means I can take to the sky at a lower cost and make my dreams achievable.
You can do this now. Sport Pilot 2.0 enables you to go and chase your dreams and be a pilot.
For existing private pilots, it means aircraft that they can fly as sport pilots that are more familiar, more useful, fly more predictably.
I can go to my local airport and I can get certified right there, which makes it a lot more accessible to everyone across the country.
Sport Pilot 2.0 is a game changer and is going to create new opportunities in aviation unlike you've seen in decades.
It's a really exciting time now for new aircraft entering the market. It will really, we hope, refresh the fleet in a way that we have not seen in at least 20 years, if not longer.
It turns people's can'ts into cans. It allows you to take flight even if you never thought you could. And it allows people who thought they couldn't fly anymore to keep flying.
You can achieve your pilot's certificate. You can learn to fly, and you can do so in half the time, half the cost, and have all the fun.
We are very honored to have the guests we're bringing up on stage. So to start things off, I'd like to introduce our CEO and Chairman of the Board of the Experimental Aircraft Association, Mr. Jack Pelton.
Thank you, Dick. Welcome to AirVenture. I'm very honored that this week Secretary Sean Duffy elected to come over and find out what this was all about. He spent a lot of personal time here. He's asked a lot of questions. He got out and seen a lot of things. And I'm very excited and interested to hear his opinions of what he thinks so far. So thank you. Sean?
I just want to tell you all that I think it's fascinating that we have an administration that cares about aviation. Before I took this job, actually when the president gave me this job, he talked about big, beautiful roads and bridges that connect our people. That was the first thing he talked about. But the second thing he talked about in November of last year is he talked about aviation and how we have to make sure we focus on aviation. We upgrade our systems, we make it safer and more innovative. And so to have a president that cares like that about aviation is really helpful to drive the reform that we want to see in this space. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen what we've done with regard to air traffic control. We are going to modernize ATC by the leadership of Sam Graves in the House, who's here. They gave us a historic $12.5 billion to start this upgrade, which is absolutely historic. And we are driving reform to bring online more of our air traffic controllers. You all know we're 3,000 short. We get slowed down, we get delays, we get cancellations. We're grateful for our current controller support, but we need to bring more people into the industry, and we want to ask those who are at the age of retirement to stay on and help us out. So excited about all of that, but I know that's not why you're all here today. We're excited because this administration, as I mentioned, along with the president, has promised to modernize aviation safety and efficiency, and today we're making good on that promise. We just finalized a major reform that's going to make recreational flying safer, more accessible, and far less red tape to tie us up in. And as you all know, that is our mission on MOSAIC. And so, that's right. So for too long, our rules have been outdated, holding back our pilots.
Well, despite the MOSAIC nonsense, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm really glad that I came to be here with Dana. So most of the people who were watching the FAA announcement yesterday of the approval of MOSAIC seemed very happy about it. And you know what? I'm happy for them. I think it probably will do a lot of good for a lot of people. I just worry that it's not going to be used responsibly. And but you know what? It is what it is. It's another big government program, and ultimately at the end of the day, people who want to do the right thing are going to do the right thing, and people who don't aren't. And there's not a damn thing I can do about that except control what we do here at Holiday Aviation. So I'm going to make a video about what our response is to the proposal, or to the bill I should say, after I read all 600 pages of it. I won't be doing that today.